Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, continuing to count down my favorite albums from 2020. We are at number 2 right now, which has to go to Blueshift, Voyager. I wanted to show the vinyl. I don't know why I didn't do that with Loathe, but I can't hold this still for my life. I wanted to show the vinyl because I love this one. I love the album art, and also they did a bunch of signatures with pizza on it, which was from a live stream that they were on, and I asked them to do that. So it's really awesome that they did. I love this band. I found them this year. They are definitely my favorite find from 2020, as well as my favorite debut album that I heard in 2020. A lot of love for Blueshift. That album is amazing. The first thing I ever heard from Blueshift was somebody on one of the subreddits that I'm on. If you don't use Reddit to find music, I would highly suggest it. There are definitely some toxic communities in there, but it's a really resourceful tool to find music. It's what I used to use before I started my channel to find music. So Reddit can be very helpful. It's actually how I found Blueshift. Like I was saying, that somebody posted Cloak and Dagger on a subreddit that I'm in, and it said like for fans of Era and some other bands that I love. So I was like, let me check this out. And I listened to it, and immediately after listening to it, I was like, whoa, first of all. Second of all, I need to pick up a guitar like yesterday again and start practicing, because it's just one of those songs where like the guitar work is so inspiring and you're like, wow, I just want to know how to play that. Like I want to be able to do that because it's beautiful. And I thought that upon listening to it, when you hear something like that up your alley, that good, you're like, maybe it's a one-off. Like, let's see what else this band is about. And at that point, the album hadn't come out yet. I think it was Cloak and Dagger was released as a single. So I checked out Disconnect, and I think there was like 1 or 2 other singles out at that time. I really liked it. I waited for release day, and it was the same release day as Invent Animate, which was March 13th of this year. I listened to it that day, but I feel like I didn't give it as much of my attention as I should because I was so gung-ho about Invent Animate's release. So I listened to it, I was like, wow, this is sweet, I'm gonna have to come back to this. And then I went back to Invent Animate for a while, and then when I did end up revisiting Voyager, which I should have done sooner than I did, it was like a little bit before I started my channel that I revisited the album, listened to it again in full, and I was just like, whoa, this is insane, like insane. And I remember going to like look them up and follow them on everything and just getting so excited about that album. And that's really what these albums are about for me. I feel like in my top, a lot of them are ones that a lot of my excitement, this is what it came from this year. You know, 2020 has been one of those years. So these albums have pulled me through a really tough year and given me excitement and stuff like that, which may sound dumb, but that's just the way, I mean, I don't care. That's the way it is for me for 2020. Like that is what I've had to look forward to. There's no shows or anything like. So releases felt a lot bigger. Finding new bands felt a lot bigger. Blueshift was absolutely my favorite find. So I heard Cloak and Dagger from that subreddit. I went and I fell in love with the album a little bit after the release date before I started my channel. I did that video, an on-repeat video. It's the only on-repeat video I've done so far, but I want to record another one this weekend because I have another in mind for it. But I did that video for Terra since I had never seen the music video, even though I had that song on repeat, which is why I call the video that. But I wanted to do that video because I remember just like listening to that album over and over. Like if you go back through on Instagram, I post my top 25 most listened to albums every week, every Friday. And if you go back and look at all of them, like Blueshift is one of the most reoccurring albums on those charts. If I had started listening to them, I feel like in the beginning of the year, it would be like my number 2 most listened to album. But it's like my 6th most listened to album, which I listen to a lot of music, so which I say that all the time, but y'all know that, I feel like. So those numbers are like a bit high. I've spent a lot of time with this record. It's incredible. There's like this ambience to it, like it's amazing. The guitar work on it. So when I heard that song, like I said, it inspired me. I wanted to pick up the guitar again. I went and I'm like, okay, it can't all be this good. The album comes out, it's all that good. Like throughout there, you get tasty. One of my favorite solos I heard all year is on that album. You should definitely listen to that album front to back if you haven't, because it's just such a journey. And I know I've read online about Blueshift, like joking around about people saying, or maybe it was on that stream. I really don't remember, but I remember them saying something about like, oh, people telling them your album sounds like space, but it totally does. That is true, and I feel like if the album art for this is perfection for this album. That is what it sounds like, especially with, so my favorite song off of this is Undertow. That is by far my favorite song, and then everything else after, it's like a tie for me. I can think of like a bunch of reasons for each one that it could be my favorite over the others, and they're all just amazing songs. But for me, Undertow really stood out to me. There's something about like the waves lapping and stuff, the ambience of it, the vocals on it, the guitar, everything just, it's perfect. It is a perfect song in my opinion, 10 out of 10. That is an amazing song. And I could have found it sooner. I saw on YouTube, it had been on YouTube for quite a while, so I wish I had found that sooner. There is just a ton to love off this album. I could talk about it forever. You've got the waves lapping like I was talking about in Undertow. You got the chorus in Terra, which is one of my favorite choruses this year. It's definitely my favorite off of this album, the one that I did that on repeat video for. It's I can hear that so clearly in my head. It's just incredible. Love it. That is like my ideal style of a clean chorus. That style right there. Their vocalist Josh is absolutely incredible. You've got other stuff like the beginning of Zenith, the drumming in the beginning of Zenith. I love it. They're just, I could sit here and really pick apart this album. How long is this? 6.5 minutes? It's not been too long. I can keep talking for a little bit, but the last 2 songs on the, I guess if I had to pick favorites, it would be that the opening, this is going to be too many things. The opening is Embark to Sadad, which I really enjoy that. That the closing is Zenith and Vertigo, because those 2 songs, like, okay, the chorus on Zenith is stellar. It's another one. That is a close second for my favorite chorus off of this album. And then you get to go into Vertigo. It's why I love listening to this album in order, I think it's perfectly ordered. And then my favorite track is more towards the beginning of the album. I just love the way that it's laid out. It's how I like an album to be laid out. But the last 2 songs are incredible. That is probably my favorite like pair of songs back to back on this album. Sorry, I keep cutting this video to cough because my throat has a thing that is making me cough. Anyway, so Blueshift, Voyager, this album is gotta be it's my favorite to listen to front to back from this year, and from for the last long while. Loathe would be a close second, because with my number 1, I feel like that's definitely my favorite album of ever, and I feel like there are multiple orders that I could listen to it in and it would be the same for me. But with Blueshift, I really admire the way that it's laid out. Same with the Loathe album. I really admire the way that the album feels when you listen to it from beginning to end. I love that, especially as somebody who likes to listen to physical copies of music, because it's hard, I'm not going to put it on my record player and be like, shuffle. It's not going to happen. So when it flows nicely, I'm more apt to realize that, because I listen to these records on vinyl and stuff, and it's nice to be able to, I don't know, there's just something that I appreciate a lot about, like, the thinking of the artist, like taking the specific order that the songs were supposed to go in, and in my head trying to be like, all right, now what would the reasoning be, and stuff like that. It's just fun to me. Same thing with like lyric meanings. It's kind of the same sort of thing. But anyway, Blueshift, Voyager. If you have not listened to this album, please listen to this album. And if you have listened to this album, let me know what your favorite tracks from Blueshift are in the comments. I know from their streams and stuff that they're working on some new music, so I will absolutely be doing reaction videos for that whenever we get new Blueshift. I'm very excited. They very easily this year became one of my favorite bands. Definitely my favorite find. And a well-deserving number 2 on the 2020 list, which I don't have to give my little talk about how this year is blah, 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 blah. It's more important to have a higher number this year or whatever. It's more difficult or whatever. I mean, ranking the singles, so I'm going to make a video. It's probably not going to be till New Year's Day, but there will be a video for my favorite singles as well. And I have a lot on that list. It's like, here's my top 100 or something. I'm going to make playlists for all of these albums and stuff as well. Make sure, so Blueshift pressed this record on vinyl. I have a nobody asked me to do this either, but I just saw that they're not sold out, and I feel like they should be, because there weren't that many of them made. But look how nice this is, and it's on a blue vinyl. Look it, and it comes with a little card that tells you how many, like what number out of 100 you got and stuff, and they're not going to press it again. And I saw that it wasn't sold out, so if you like that album and you're watching this video because you already know it and you like it, or you go listen to it and then you want to have it on vinyl, you should go get it, because I would be really bummed if I found Blueshift after this, because they're not going to press it again. It's going to be the OG press of this album. So I will put the link in the description for that, actually. So the link will be in the description for their merch, vinyl, all that. Go get something. Support the boys. They're awesome. They have been incredibly kind to me this year. So Blueshift, thank you for being so nice to me and for interacting with my videos and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun to interact with bands and stuff. And this year, kind of in Try to see how I can, if I can, like, hype them up and stuff, I'm going to, because that I spend all of my time listening to music pretty much. So for me, it's very important to me. I love to hype up the bands I love. Blueshift is definitely one you should check out. So that is my number 2 favorite album from 2020. I will announce my number 1. Well, not really announce. It's not that big of a deal. I will do this video for my number 1 probably New Year's Day, given time. Maybe on New Year's Eve if I can, but if not, I'm also planning on doing like an honorable mention video and stuff, maybe the day, like New Year's Day or some of the days following. I want to do something to kind of cover some more music that I was listening to this year. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy the style of music, bands, and content that I post on my YouTube channel, I post more music related content on Instagram. My handle there is Rachel Reacts. Same as my YouTube channel, but I will put it up here on the screen for you, as well as put the link in the description if you have any interest in following me. And the link to the Discord server, the invite link for the Discord server, which is, I always say, it's a ton of fun. I mean it. There are a lot of great people in there, and we have a lot of interesting and fun conversations. So as long as you're willing to be kind and be respectful of other people, please come join us, and the link will be in the description if you're interested, of course. And lastly, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.